Profits over children. The hidden war on food and health. Imagine this. It's 7:30 in the morning. A mother is rushing to get her kids ready for school. She grabs a box of brightly colored cereal, the one with the cartoon tiger on the front. Her children love it. She pours it into bowls, adds milk, and in a few minutes the kids are spooning down sugar, dyes, and chemicals before heading out the door. For the parent, it feels like a small victory. Breakfast done. Kids are fed. For the food corporation, it's more than a breakfast. It's a lifetime customer. Because those cereals, like so many products in our stores, are engineered to keep children hooked while quietly laying the foundation for disease. This is not an exaggeration. This is the reality of modern food in America. And when you trace the money, you discover something even more disturbing. The very corporations that profit from making us sick are the same ones that profit from treating that sickness. 1. How profit replaced nourishment. 100 years ago, food was food. Families cooked with ingredients you could pronounce: flour, butter, eggs, vegetables, fruit. Meals were made at home, often from scratch. Obesity, childhood diabetes, and many of today's chronic diseases were rare. But in the 20th century, something changed. Corporations realized that food was not just about feeding people. It was about maximizing profit. Instead of selling apples, they sold apple-flavored snacks. Instead of oats, they sold sugar-coated cereals. Instead of milk, they sold neon-colored drinks that looked exciting but delivered almost nothing the body truly needs. Why? Because processed food lasts longer on shelves, costs less to make, and can be marketed with billion-dollar campaigns. Fresh carrots can't be branded, but a bright orange bag of cheese puffs can be advertised during cartoons. And so, a generation was taught to crave not nourishment, but chemical flavorings. 2. Engineering addiction. What most parents don't realize is that food scientists design these products to be addictive. They create what's called the bliss point, the exact balance of sugar, fat, and salt that lights up the brain's reward system. Children whose brains are still developing are especially vulnerable. Give a child a handful of candy-coated snacks, and their dopamine spikes the same way it would with gambling or addictive substances. The brain learns, this makes me feel good, I want more. And so kids grow up hooked. By the time they're teenagers, they think this is normal eating. By adulthood, chronic cravings have become part of their identity. Corporations know this. They depend on it. An addicted customer is a repeat customer. 3. The toll on children. But what's the cost? Walk into a pediatric clinic today and you'll see something shocking. Children as young as 10 with type 2 diabetes. 12-year-olds with fatty liver disease. Classrooms full of kids struggling to focus, their bodies reacting to dyes and preservatives that Europe banned years ago. Childhood obesity has more than tripled since the 1970s. And this isn't just about weight, it's about immune function, hormonal balance, brain development, and emotional health. These foods are altering children's biology in ways we are only beginning to understand. And here's the cruel truth. Many of these illnesses don't go away. A child with early diabetes, with disrupted hormones, with chronic inflammation, that's a child on track for a lifetime of medications. 4. The healthcare profit loop. Now pause for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Who gains when kids grow up chronically ill? The answer is chilling, the healthcare industry. When you need daily medication, when you need ongoing hospital visits, when you're locked into insurance systems, you're worth more as a patient than as a healthy person. This is why you'll find massive financial ties between big food and big pharma. It's not a conspiracy. It's public record. In 2018, Bayer, a pharmaceutical giant, bought Monsanto, the agricultural giant behind genetically engineered crops and pesticides. That means one company profits both from the chemicals sprayed on our food and the drugs prescribed when those foods make us sick. Nestlé, the world's largest food company, also dominates medical nutrition. They sell candy and frozen pizza, but also baby formula, protein powders, and medical shakes for patients with diabetes and cancer. Abbott Laboratories, another medical giant, sells heart stents, glucose monitors, and pharmaceuticals, but also Similac baby formula, Pedialyte for children, and Ensure for the elderly. See the loop? From the cradle to the grave, they profit at both ends. 5. Who owns what? If you want to see the real web of control, look at the investors. The top shareholders in almost every major food corporation and every major pharmaceutical company are the same: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. These financial giants don't care whether you're eating chips or buying chemotherapy drugs. They only care about one thing: profit margins. So when processed food sales soar and diabetes drug sales soar, the same investors celebrate. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. 6. Why government fails us. You might ask, where's the government in all of this? Why isn't anyone protecting our children? The truth is, food policy in America is heavily influenced by industry lobbying. Billions are spent each year to make sure regulations favor corporations, not families. Additives banned in Europe remain legal here because corporations argue that they're safe enough. School lunch programs are filled with processed foods because it's cheaper to contract with big suppliers than to source fresh produce from local farms. And when the USDA tries to tighten nutritional guidelines, industry groups fight back fiercely, because every change that favors health threatens profit. 7. Real stories, real consequences. This isn't abstract. Let's bring it down to families. In low-income neighborhoods, fresh produce is scarce, but fast food and processed snacks are everywhere. Parents who want the best for their kids are trapped. A bag of chips is cheaper than a bag of apples. A soda is cheaper than bottled water. So children grow up in what public health experts call food deserts. But maybe we should call them what they really are: corporate feeding grounds, because these children are being set up for illness from day one. And once they're sick, the cycle continues. Hospitals step in, doctors prescribe drugs, and pharmaceutical companies record record profits. 8. The long-term cost. The saddest part is that the true cost isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in futures lost. Think about a 10-year-old developing type 2 diabetes today. That child will face decades of health struggles. They'll face a shorter lifespan. They'll face medical debt. They'll struggle in school. They may never reach their potential, not because they lacked intelligence or willpower, but because corporations saw them as profit opportunities. Multiply that by millions of children, and you see why this is more than a health crisis. It's a moral crisis. 9. Why we must care. So why should you care? Because no child deserves to be a product line for corporations. Because health should not be a business model. Because the future of our children is the future of our society. When an entire generation is being fed chemicals instead of nourishment, the question isn't what's for dinner. The question is, what kind of nation are we building? Closing. This is the choice we face. Will we keep allowing corporations to profit off sickness while our children pay the price? Or will we stand up, demand transparency, demand accountability, and create a food system that values health over profit? Because if we don't, we may wake up in a world where children no longer remember what real food tastes like, but they know every brand of medication by name. and that's not the future any of us should accept.